Hi, everyone. Welcome to another session of risk management for everyone from SysRisk. In today's agenda, we want to talk about artificial intelligence and how risk entry can be augmented with the help of AI. So, I want to show you as part of the first area is that show parameters used in AI risk identification and identify a few risks on a particular topic. And then for the second area, we want to add the AI identified risk into a risk entry form, and then also add that same AI identified risk into a risk register, which is stored for the long-term storage. So with these two agenda items in mind, I'm going to skip this presentation and go straight to the demo. And this is the log into SysRisk screen. We add our username and a password, and we quickly log in. And the version that I'm actually using is the free version that is for individual users. So if you notice, I have my on one side, I have all of the different activities that I can perform. And the activity that we want to do today is all about AI, and that's really tied with risk control, where we want to identify new risk or we want to discover risk resolution. But we really want to look at the identification of new risk. So as part of the individual free license tool, you can add any particular industry sector of choice. And in this case, we can just choose manufacturing, and in manufacturing, we can actually select a particular risk category, say financial risk, and we can actually add different kinds of risk keywords. So in this case, budget. In this case, we can also add the word for financing. We can also add the word funding. You can also add the word investment. So you realize this is all about investment for a particular manufacturing plant, and we're trying to identify the financial risk tied to it. So at this point of time, there's really no air risk identified as part of this. And I am going to do a quick search. And as part of that search, we are going to first of all hit Sysonex own Sys global database and identify any risk that is actually tied to this. And also at the same time, we're going to hit our AI engine, and from there we'll identify a number of these risk items. So over here we've identified 5 risks, and these are financial risk category tied with the line of business of manufacturing, and the risk title is provided to establish a budget oversight committee, diversify funding sources, implement cost-cutting measures, conduct regular financial audits, and seek financial planning and advisory services. So these are some of the risk and discovery title or risk titles that you might not have. And the risk description are tied over here, and the risk resolutions tied over here. I want to look at diversify funding sources because I feel this is the most applicable for this event, where a manufacturing firm is really looking for funding. So increase the company's sources of funding to reduce dependence on a single source of investment. And what it says is by diversifying funding sources, the company can mitigate the risk of financial instability caused by changes in one particular funding stream. So there you have it, folks. We entered our industry sector, we entered our risk category, and based on a few keywords, we can identify items that are particularly pertains to our own company. And in this case, we decided that it was manufacturing financial risk, diversify funding sources as the critical item, and I can actually accept it. So this actually brings us to the next item in our agenda, which is how do you actually add this particular risk item that we have found into your risk entry. So instead of manually really going through it on the entire process, we have an automated process where you can accept this risk. And again, the industry sector is manufacturing, risk category is financial risk. The risk keywords are budget, financing, funding, investment, and risk title is diversify funding sources. So that is literally like the risk item that you're trying to address. And the risk description, a temporary risk description has been provided, which is increase the company's sources of funding to reduce dependence on a single source of investment. And the risk resolution that has been provided is by diversifying funding sources, the company can mitigate the risk of financial instability caused by changes in one particular funding stream. So, very pointed risk resolution mechanism that now a risk resolution team can take on and start addressing in their own business process. So if I want to take on this risk and accept this as a risk, I have to check this and say, by checking this box, I acknowledge and agree to the disclaimer stating that AI-generated risk resolution may contain inaccuracies, and that is absolutely the case. It is imperative to exercise your own discretion and judgment when utilizing AI-generated risk items for decision-making purposes. So absolutely. So we only have so much information from where we are able to provide a particular risk to aid you in your own risk identification purpose. So that's where the caveat is. So let's create a new risk tied to this. As soon as we click on create a new risk, you are now coming into the point where you can say, hey, you know what, this was for me, this was really financial risk. Risk item we identified was diversify funding sources. The description is provided, risk resilience is provided, and as you know, because this is a single user version, which is the free version, the risk owner is myself. Risk is also assigned to me, risk is also monitored by me, and in this case, I can now add likelihood. Likelihood goes to a score of 4.1 to 5, and impact severity, I can also say, hey, you know what, this is probably a moderate impact severity, and with a potential damage cost, say, you know what, we need a funding of, so a potential damage cost can be $100,000, and we are literally looking at anywhere between $50,000 for this particular item, and we can actually save and ask for approval. As soon as you save and ask for approval, it goes into the risk approval queue. Mind you, it just right now, as soon as you added, it actually went into the original addition resulted in putting it into a queue. And once that got approved by the individual who's entering the risk, that goes into the risk approval queue. And the risk approval, the director or the line of business director can simply approve it, request for changes, or rejects, and approves it. And as soon as the person actually approves it, it gets a risk ID. That's a very unique ID tied to the organization. And based on that risk ID, you have a entry within the risk register. And I've got a bunch of these risk register items that I've got. And I'm going to go to the one that I just added, which is diversify funding sources. So now I have not initiated any activity on this item, but I definitely need to. And with that, I end today's demo. So thank you so much, guys, for being here and listening to this and reviewing this demo. Please feel free to subscribe to our channel to see more videos on how we can do risk management using SysRisk, as well as utilize artificial intelligence for risk management purposes. And looking forward to your comments and feedbacks. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn, and glad to always keep in touch with you all. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.